Hey guys, it's Joe of WagerTalk.com. Are you guys going to come over to WagerTalk on July 4th? Well, you really should. You're likely aware that we'll be offering every daily pick package for only $9 a Friday to Monday. But did you also know on July 4th only, we will have a great special 7-day all access packages for just $76 for the week. That is less than $11 a day, you guys. So make sure on July 4th, you head over to wagertalk.com and get this deal. 1 week of picks for just $76.
Ranieri would say. And I am Steve Merrill filling in for Joe Ranieri because it's July 1st. Joe is headed for the beaches. There's never any NBA in July. We're done for the season. Not so fast, my friends. I could not confirm, guys, but I think this is the first time we have ever had a regular season or postseason game in the month of July in NBA history. So, welcome, July 1st, Thursday, NBA tip off edition here on Wager Talk TV. Feel like we're back last season when I was hosting with my man, Ski Prophet, my man, Rob Vino, and almost my man, Tony Finn, who is currently stuck in the dark web as we speak, but hopefully we'll get him on shortly. If not, Ski and Rob can more than make up for it. Ski, I'll start with you. Your LA Clippers are now with your LA Lakers. They're now on the golf course. I know you're joining them shortly, so I won't hold you too long today. But Ski, what were your thoughts on a pretty non-eventful game 5 last night to close out the Western Conference favorites? Suns are now favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah, I came on here a few days ago and read a quote from Paul George, and he had one of his better games of his career. And then he comes on yesterday, and that's the Paul George that I thought we'd see in the previous game. So I guess I had the right cap wrong game. And Chris Paul, first finals ever. We'll see if he can do it.
Yeah, and by the way, looking at the future odds right now at FanDuel, Chris Paul and Devin Booker are each 2-1 to be Finals MVP. So Chris Paul is up on the top of that list, and I think Paul George was going to take Game 4 off, Ski, until Rob Vino called him out on Twitter in the first half on Tuesday night. And Rob, that was one of your better tweets. It said, Paul George has such a good life. I forget exactly. I'm paraphrasing that he does not have to pass, score, or make an effort on the court. And then all of a sudden, PG-13 became rated R, and he turned it on in that second half. And the Clippers did advance, but Rob, they did not show up last night, blown out from the start, basically. And they are no longer in the playoffs. What was your big takeaway, Rob, from Game 5 last night?
Yeah, that Paul George quote, that was Ski's contribution to the show. I just stole it. Paul George basically telling everybody that no matter what happens, he has a wonderful life. Well, he's got a wonderful life. He's out. Phoenix is in. I think, Steve, real quick, there were so many inconsistencies in that series that um, if you just played kind of a seesaw theory, what you saw last game, the opposite would happen the next game. That really started to happen in that series toward the end. You just had to get on the right side of the seesaw. If you're stuck on the wrong side, I happened to be on the wrong side between games 2 and 4 where totals were concerned. But last night, I think that series played out as a perfect split right down the middle if you were handicapping it. Games where Zubats was not involved were faster tempo, better shooting, and games where Zubac was involved were kind of like, let's muck it up and let's, put it in a boxing ring and grind it out. So last night, actually yesterday afternoon, I just made an educated guess off of what I read that he wasn't going to play. And with that theory in mind, I just went to bat with the over, first half over, pretty heavy. It did work out. Um, Phoenix shot the ball really well, right? And they didn't shoot the ball well the day before, and it seemed like, 2 games ago, Ty Lue was talking about the Clippers' sense of urgency, and they showed up in the first quarter and throughout the whole game. And then yesterday, prior to the game, Phoenix was talking about the sense of urgency. So it's really mind-boggling, Steve, how every game isn't a sense of urgency when you hit this point in the playoffs, but apparently not for both of these teams. So you just have to get on the right side of that seesaw. You get yourself wins. Congratulations, especially, I think from a human side to Monty Williams, who went through that tragedy with his wife in the car accident back when he was at Oklahoma City. I think the whole league really admires Monty Williams. So good for him to be in the finals, as well as Chris Paul and the rest of those guys. It's nice to see somebody new in there, and we'll see who they take on between Atlanta and Milwaukee.
Yeah, and Rob, they're going to have a long wait because it's going to be a full 7 days off, no matter who they play. The NBA Finals, no matter what, will start Thursday, July 8th, a week from tonight. Whether this Eastern Conference Finals ends in 6 games on Saturday or 7 games this coming Monday, I think they might go 8 games the way this series is going. And they have literally like 3-on-3 basketball at that point because, these two teams are decimated. But, Phoenix is going to have a nice little rest edge either way. And we look at the future odds right now. I'm seeing the Phoenix Suns pretty good favorites, as you would expect. I'm seeing them basically minus 200 to win the whole thing. And then you got Milwaukee at plus 320 and Atlanta Hawks at plus 550. And that, of course, is because Milwaukee is still a slight favorite to win the series, only about $1.20 to even money to win the series. So if that's the case, you can maybe make a case there's a little bit of a value with Atlanta if you're going to play one of those Eastern Conference teams. But it's obviously setting up pretty well for the Phoenix Suns. And setting up well, of course, is Tony Finn in the bottom right corner for the block, fresh out of the dark web. Can only imagine the debauchery that took place while he was there for the last 15 minutes. But Tony, welcome to the show on Thursday, July 1st. And Tony, you've been around a little bit longer than all of us. You ever remember NBA regular season or postseason basketball in the month of July?
Remember that an instance of watching basketball in the basically in the dog days of summer when we're supposed to be huddled around either a pool or a air conditioner or a window unit listening to baseball at like 8 on balmy nights. No, I don't, and I've not. But this has been an irregular, should I say, season. I don't think there's anything that I could say was that fit any of the normality that we typically get late in an NBA season. And a lot of that applies to playoffs, guys. I mean, when it comes to NBA playoffs, typically it's pretty determined already who's going to be, sitting in that Final Four. This year, it was a lot different. A lot of people didn't believe in Phoenix. A lot of touts, a lot of guys who are, I consider experts and I respect them, did not believe that this team had the savvy, the experience to get this far. We'll see how far it goes.
Yeah, and Tony, what's crazy is in hindsight, it shouldn't be surprising because I think technically, Utah was a little bit better overall record, but Phoenix about a month ago had the best record at times over Utah. It was kind of a back and forth battle within a game or so. And like you said, normally the number 1 or 2 teams in the NBA make the finals every year. Boom.
Yes.
Phoenix Suns, second best record overall. So it shouldn't be a surprise. They most likely are going to win it now. They have about a 65% chance of doing so as we speak. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, it's been a crazy season. And Ski, it leads us into the game tonight. It has been a war of attrition, and it's a little ironic that the shorter season you have more injuries, but then again, it's not because they've had so many games compressed in such a short amount of time that maybe it's not a surprise, Ski, that we have more injuries here. But yeah, this is a textbook example of just both teams getting decimated. We, of course, had Trae Young, the star for the Atlanta Hawks, missing Game 4. It looked like when we did the show the other day, it looked like he was going to go, and that bone bruise in the foot, I guess, was too much. And did it work out for Atlanta because he got an extra game off of rest. They were able to get the win still. And, of course, a large reason, Ski, is because the Greek got injured. And he is out. We do know that. He is out for Game 5 here. Trae Young is a game-time decision. Capella is a game-time decision after getting poked in the eye in Game 4. Of course, DeAndre Hunter had surgery. He is out for the rest of the season. Bogdanovich is always questionable, it seems. He'll most likely go. Ski, what are you doing with this game tonight? I'll throw it to you. Right now, we're seeing the Bucks as a slight home favorite, about a 3-point favorite across the board here in Milwaukee for Game 5.
I haven't been too good on the sides. It's been more of the totals that have been good to me. So I'll keep my opinion on the side short and sweet. If you like the Milwaukee Bucks, I think you should take them in the first half. There hasn't been a game in the postseason that they haven't covered the first half as a home favorite. So that's the way I'll lean if you like Milwaukee. And for the total, I look at games without Giannis. There have been, I think, 11 for the Bucks this season. Obviously, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton's usage is going to go up, and they still score around 226 points per game. So I look at the Hawks. I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing you'll get Trae Young, and he'll look a little bit better than he looked in that fourth quarter. And I just see this being closer to like a 222 type game. So I think the total's a little low. Where it opened up, I think was correct. Now seeing it at 215, I would be leaning more towards betting a full game over here.
And of course, the Hawks got Rob, 110 points without Trae Young in game four. Milwaukee was the team that really struggled offensively. But before Giannis even got hurt, they just didn't look on. I don't know if they overlooked Atlanta. We talked to the regular season. One of the easiest moneymakers in all of sports this year is just to blindly play on the team that was shorthanded in the NBA. Take the big adjusted point spread. They'd win outright half the time. We talk about the playoffs. Well, maybe that doesn't work. Kawhi Leonard, no Clippers. Kawhi Leonard out 2 games. They went outright, boom, boom, against the number one team in the league. And now all of a sudden Milwaukee comes out extremely flat in game four the other night. Was it maybe a little bit of a, hey, we've got this thing wrapped up without Trae Young? Rob, what are your thoughts here for game five?
It seemed that way, Steve, right? Because the way they approached that game wasn't, at least from an offensive perspective, it wasn't by doing anything that they do well. They opened up that game throwing jump shots around like, we got this game won and we could do whatever we want because Trae Young's not involved. The 38 points that they scored in the first half against that team without Trae Young is unacceptable if you're the Milwaukee Bucks. So I would expect that again, we talked about this with Phoenix and the Clippers, right? Sense of urgency. It didn't look like Milwaukee had it. Atlanta certainly did. Atlanta winds up pulling away in the end. I'm going to go right to, it's funny Ski mentioned the games without Giannis because I wrote them all down right here. I've got every single one of them. Ski, you're on the money. There was 11 of them. And we've talked about this before as a group dating back to last year, how Milwaukee is capable of scoring points without Giannis. You think because he's gone, the offense is going to suffer. I think when Giannis is gone, what suffers more is probably the defense. But let me just go through the 11 games real quick. A couple extra things to point out about that. 11 games without Giannis on the floor this year. In 8 of those games, the Bucks scored 108 or more. So Ski gave you their average points. If they get to 108 tonight, guys, there's a good chance this thing gets over full game-wise. In 6 of those games, they allowed 113 or more, which goes to the point that I was trying to make earlier, where they suffer a little bit on the defensive end. Giannis is a good defensive rebounder. Giannis is good at shot blocking. Giannis is good at stopping drives when they get to the paint. All that's missing without him at this point. I would think, I'll make one more real quick point here. Atlanta played Milwaukee this year one time without Trae Young on the floor for the Atlanta Hawks. And that game scored 244 points, 129, 115. So it goes both ways here with Trae Young and Giannis. The reason why you can't really go through and actually incorporate all the games Trae Young missed this year into your handicap is because as I went through them, not only was Trae Young absent in a bunch of them, but Atlanta had 3, 4 guys out in a whole batch of those games. So it's hard to really get anything tangible from games where not only is Trae Young out, but you're missing Hunter and you're missing Bogdanovich and you're missing Reddish and all kinds of guys. But the Giannis stuff I think is meaningful here. I would expect it to be played at pace. Milwaukee, Steve, like you pointed out, they were the team that came up short offensively last game. And I would expect them to try and correct that here. It's going to rely, they're going to have to rely an awful lot on their three-point shooting. Let's face it, Pat Connaughton is going to see an uptick in minutes, and he has been invisible for quite a while now. Bryn Forbes, uptick in minutes, invisible for quite a while. PJ Tucker is going to have to hit some of those corner threes. Brook Lopez is going to have to draw Capella out from the rim and make some threes. All that stuff's going to have to happen. But if it's going to happen, those types of guys, role players, usually play better in the home games. That stuff doesn't really go on the road, doesn't travel well. So I think Milwaukee comes back with points here. I think Atlanta's going to want to run as well. Certainly, if they get Lopez out of the game at any stretch here, it's not going to look real imposing when you're driving the lane. If you're Lou Williams, if you're Kevin Herter, if you're anybody, Gallinari, if you're capable of putting the ball on the deck and going to the rim, Lopez, if you can get him away from the rim or get him out of the game, it's going to be pretty easy for Atlanta. So I agree with Ski. I think full game points is probably a real good way to look. There's some props I'm looking at as well, but just on how I think this one's going to be played, I think there'll be tempo. Both teams won't shy away from it. If Trae Young goes or not, I think the numbers show that these teams can still score offensively. And real quick, from one of our favorite guys, Lemon Pepper Lou, I heard him talking about, how much it means to the guys who don't normally get this chance in a starting role. I heard him say, we're all professionals too. We all know how to score baskets too. And they look forward to doing so. So for me, I kind of disagree with the total movement downward.
Yeah, and right now that total is 215.5 for the game. The first half total is 109, so that would make it 106.5 for the second half. Full game, Bucks are now a 3-point favorite. First half, a 2-point favorite. So once again, we're seeing that adjustment towards the team coming off a bad performance, heading back home, like we've seen a lot in game threes when they're down 0-2 that we've talked about this year. I think the key here, Tony Finn, is that this is a wake-up call. Nobody loves a wake-up call more than Ski Profit. Housekeeping. But I know you love a good wake-up call as well, Tony Finn, from the 3 hours of sleep you get every night. And what are your thoughts here? Can Milwaukee flip a switch? Robert, our producer Robert, threw that graph here as Rob was talking about. They really kind of fell apart in the middle part of that third quarter when Giannis was hurt. But let's keep in mind, as I said earlier, they were slow out of the gate with their superstar in the lineup. They were outscored 51-38 at halftime with the Greek. And as you see here, from middle of the third quarter on, it went from bad to worse. But guess what? The one quarter that the Bucks won on Game 4 Tuesday night was the fourth quarter. Of course, it was a little bit out of reach at that point. They were down by 25 going into that quarter. But Tony Finn, do you think they can flip a switch, have more focus? And I guess big picture, do they have enough on this lineup? Are they still a true Class A team without the Greek?
Well, first off, make sure those wake-up calls are artificially inseminated. You know what I mean? Give me something really going to wake me up, because it's this time of year. Secondly, Milwaukee. Can they do? Listen, Milwaukee in their series against the Nets, if I'm not mistaken, they win 4-3, right? And I think that they found a way. You thought they had an edge. Harden, no Irvin. The series still goes 4-3. And then how about Atlanta? Trae Young set out Game 4 with that bone bruise. It appears the Bucks, they want to make it difficult for us, guys. They really do want to make it difficult for us. I've always had a problem wrapping my hands around Coach Bud and what he's doing from game to game. And in this situation, guys, I expect much of what both of my esteemed colleagues have outlined, and that is I expect pace. I really do expect pace. I don't imagine that either of his teams are very comfortable defensively or sitting up in half-court sets without the Greek. And Atlanta's never felt comfortable setting up in half-court sets. They'd rather gamble for steals, et cetera, et cetera. That said, I would lean to the over tonight, but I certainly cannot. The way Atlanta has played in these postseason, what you expect should be to expect the unexpected from them. And so I pretty much stepped a couple steps back from trying to pick a side, although I do like the total. I like the over here. I expect Atlanta to score more points than they did in that last game. So let's I'm ready for the tip-off personally.
There we have a little bit of a leans from everybody here on the over tonight. And once again, that's a 215.5 for Game 5. First half, 109. And I think Ski, Rob, and Tony, all a little bit of consensus there. NBA tip-off consensus to the over. Hey, no John Ryan angle of the day. John's database exploded when it asked him to handicap a July playoff game, so he's in the process of fixing that as we speak. Tony, Finn, and Rob Vino will be on at 4 o'clock Eastern here in about a half hour on Manny's Pub. Be sure to check that out, sportsmemo.com. John Ryan, contributor all season long. But once again, no database for July NBA basketball games. And, Tony, we do get basketball occasion with the Olympics. We will have that a little bit later this month of July basketball, I guess. I don't even know if they're doing Olympic basketball, but we'll find out.
Well, yeah. How do you feel about that, by the way?
Feel about what?
About Olympic basketball this year.
Are they even doing Olympic basketball this year?
I understand they are, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, see, I just as I said that, I was like, wait a second, we're going to have NBA finals here until like mid late July. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. I want to see some Japanese basketball.
I thought it was going to be without the. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to be without the finals, guys. That's all.
But it would have to be. That's why I wasn't even sure they were doing it, because I don't think Japan's necessarily a big Japanese basketball country. I'm assuming they've added baseball back, but I digress. Hey, one person that does know about basketball is Ski Profit, WNBA as well. Ski, I know you've been smoking it for several years in the WNBA. Give us a best bet for the show. We're going to put a minute on the clock, do a little shameless self-promotion like Rob Vino does every time I'm on with him. Makes me sick. And then you give me a minute to get your best bet on there as well. Ski, what you looking at here tonight on Thursday?
Anytime I hear those two words, it just makes me laugh. I don't know. Shameless promotion makes me laugh, but
I thought you meant Rob
my
Vino.
baseball player already went.
I thought
He
you
won.
meant smoking something.
So I guess you can hop on my baseball tomorrow. I do have a play up in WNBA for tonight. I won my last play yesterday or a day before. And for tonight, best bet, I mean, I think we all touched on it a little bit. I don't want to really repeat myself too much, but I agree with what Rob said as far as role players are going to play better at the house. And just looking at how Milwaukee was offensively last game, very uncharacteristic. They shot 20% from three, only 39% from the field. I expect their offense to be a lot better. And even if Trae Young doesn't play, I still think they can get up and over this number. But if he does, it'll be an extra boost. So I like over the 215.5. It's gone down with 5.5 points. I think it's gone down too much. So over for me tonight.
Boom, as Joe Neri would say, gets it in before the buzzer. And I heard that buzzer. Unlike Joe, who did not hear buzzers the other day, I heard that buzzer. Ski got it in well before the shot clock expired. Once again, WNBA, NBA best bets. Ski also occasionally sneaks in some baseball best bets. He does surprisingly very well with baseball for the direct subscribers, which is another reason why it's great to have a direct subscription at WagerTalk.com. Two of my favorite words in the English language is Rob Vino. And Rob, you've already brought a prop to the show with your list of 11 games. You fit it all in one sheet. And I'm going to throw it to you now for a 1 minute shot clock here. Let me know what you're looking at tonight, what you've got going on at WagerTalk.com, your thoughts for Game 5 on Thursday.
Yeah, I'm just complete old school, Steve. I still write notes down on paper every single day for every show that I do. So
I like it.
I'm not quite up with the technology. I thought that the two words that make us all laugh happened about 6 or 7 minutes ago when Tony Finn was talking about artificially inseminated. That's one that was making me laugh. I'm going to give you a prop here real quick. Chris Middleton double-double tonight, guys, is plus $1. To me, that seems ridiculous. The 10 points is the easy part, right? He should score 10 points in a game where he's going to be counted on to be number one. There's been a lot made. Oh, Cam Reddish was up on him, and Atlanta's figured out how to stop Chris Middleton. But we've seen this before. Chris Middleton disappears. Chris Middleton reappears. You got to worry about the rebounds tonight, but I went back the last 3 games. He's at 8, 11, and 7. He'll be expected to grab a couple more boards this game, so I don't think 10 is out of the question. He could even pick up 10 assists tonight because Drew Holiday will be counted on to score a little more. So give me Chris Middleton, double-double, plus $1.
Boom! There we go. Once again, beating the shot clock. I didn't hear the buzzer. I thought I had a Joe Ranieri where I couldn't hear the buzzer anymore, but there it is. It's a late buzzer, but you got it in either way. And Rob, I like the fact that you're going to some props with Milwaukee players. It's something we didn't touch on a lot, but with the Greek ruled out, he is definitely out Game 5. Trae Young and Capella, once again, questionable game time decisions for Atlanta, which makes the props really tricky, in my opinion, on the Atlanta side. Almost impossible to touch, probably. But the Milwaukee props, we know other guys have to step up. And Middleton is probably the guy that has to step up. And just looking at his game logs, the points, like you said, he's had double-digit points every playoff game. He's had 8, 11, and 7 rebounds the last 3, and he's had at least 10 more rebounds or more in 3 of the last 6 playoff games, and that was with the Greek. So I think there's a little extra basketball out there for Middleton tonight. So I like where Rob's going with that even money for the double-double. And, of course, perhaps could sneak in some assists. He's actually had 8, 7, and 5 the last 3 games. So could get there with assist and points. But a double-double, Middleton, even money. I like that prop from Brino. Ski profit once again with the over in the game tonight. And do I dare throw it to you, Tony Finn, for the last minute here in the shot clock? Do we allow you to take the last shot of the show, the last shot of the game? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm passing you the ball, my man. 1 minute on the shot clock. Give me your thoughts for Game 5 tonight. And any shameless promotion, as always.
No shameless plugs today because I'm not certain what's going on. I mean, I'm really not fond of either card tonight, but I have a few possibilities. Quickly, I'll do a quick shot. That way somebody can rebound, put back the offensive board in case I mess this up. But Bogdanovich, I like Bogdanovich for the first time after 6 games, guys. 6, count them, games where he didn't even reach double figures. He gets 20. Still didn't shoot that well, but they needed him. And 7 for 19, 6 for 14 from 3, which was the best. Scored 20 points. He's going to score 20 points tonight. He's finally healthy. He's finally off that bum ankle. Over 15.5 points for Bogdog. tonight in Game 6 of the Eastern Championship.
Nice. I like it. And 15 seconds left. You know, all this time we thought you went too long because you just went too long, Tony. But I'm hosting Joe's out, and all of a sudden you leave us 15 extra seconds on the shot clock. So I knew it wasn't you all along. You threw the ball back to me. By the way, another one of Tony's favorite words is inflatables. So I got this one just for him there, a special extra. But once again, Bogdanovich over the total. I think that, you know, Tony, I mentioned we can't use Atlanta players, but I actually like where you're going with that because he's the most healthy of the three questionables. So I think he actually will get extra tonight for that reason, with Capella and Young banged up, if they even play at all. Once again, that game 8:30 tonight, guys. Game 5, national TV between the Bucks and Hawks. There will be a Game 6 Saturday, and then perhaps a Game 7 on Monday. Hey, let's recap the best bets here on the show. Once again, Ski Profit likes over 215 points between the Hawks and Bucks full game. Rob Vina with the Chris Middleton double-double at even money. That's points and rebounds, or points and assists could get there as well. I like that one at even money. And then, of course, Tony Finn taking the Bogman, Bogdanovich, over 15.5 points. He's due for a breakout, Tony says. And with Young and Capella game time decisions, I agree Bogdanovich probably gets a little extra touches tonight. Another one of Tony Finn's favorite words, touches. Hey, guys, great show as always. I appreciate Joe Ranieri. Let me fill in for him. We're getting the memo to him that there is still July basketball. He will be back on Monday if there's a Game 7. If not, he'll be back next Thursday for Game 1 of the NBA Finals right here on Wager Talk TV. A quick reminder, I've got 2 best bets tonight also at WagerTalk.com, and I've got a coupon code Steve150. Gets you $150 off any 30 or 90-day all-access. Steve150 for that special offer at WagerTalk.com. Have a great 4th of July weekend. I forgot to bring the flag out since it's the last show before. We'll do it right here like we did for Memorial Day. The flag for all of our veterans and true Americans. We'll be back next week. Keep in mind, tomorrow and Friday, Wager Talk today, noon Eastern, MLB First Pitch, 1:45 Eastern. I'm making appearances on both. Check the subscribe button below, the like button below, and leave us comments. Let us know some of your favorite words and other ones of Tony Finn's favorite words right here in the comment section below. We'll be back sooner than later here on Wager Talk TV. Good luck tonight.
Are you ready for football season? Yes, you heard right. The NFL kicks off in less than 50 days, and Wager Talk and Gold Sheet have you covered with the new Gold Sheet NFL Summer Guide. The Gold Sheet NFL Summer Guide is over 80 pages of actionable NFL handicapping information to help you prep for this season from a betting perspective, and best of all, the guide is free. This includes lines for every NFL game, schedule with Ralph Michaels' exclusive power ratings, position-by-position breakdown with every NFL player that made a start last season, exclusive NFL health reports for each team, and much more. Just go to thegoldsheet.com, and the guide is available on the front page with no sign-up or information needed.